Hi Andrew. So today we're going to talk about the generalized system of preferences, and can you explain to us what is it?
Of course, the creation of the General System of Preferences, also known as the GSP, is driven by the desire to develop international trade by defining international trade as an instrument of economic and social progress. The main objective is to support the industrial deployment of developing countries in order to enable them to become more competitive in the export sector. This system derogates from one of the main pillars of the international trading system, namely the most favored nation. Most favored nation treatment generally requires that any type of benefits granted to a contracting party will also be granted without discrimination to another contracting party in trade with respect to any like product. To date, 27 industrialized countries have adopted unilateral program for the implementation of the GSP. Each one is customized according to the beneficiary, the product covered, and the type of preferences granted.
Okay, thank you. And how does it work? How do you implement it?
GSPs are mainly applied through the granting of a preferential tariff on imports from developing countries without reciprocity and discrimination in favor of developing countries, including special measures for the least developed countries. This system is based on three principles. First, the origin criteria in order to ascertain the source of the product exported. Secondly, the safeguard clause, which allows the country to modify, suspend, or cancel all or part of the system of preferences. And finally, the enabling clause that legally validates the framework within which the GSPs is deployed. It thus resolves the remaining legal and normative contradiction between the GSP and the multilateral trading system.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. And are there any different types of general system of preferences?
Yes, of course. There are three types of GSP models. First, there's the classic model containing only commercial consideration, such as the criteria of granting preferences. Canada is one of the countries that adopted this type of model. Then there's the model developed by the EU. The Special Incentive Scheme, also known as GSP+, seeks to encourage sustainable development and good governance for countries with vulnerable economies. This scheme is awarded by application on a voluntary basis and guided by an incentive principle. In this respect, countries wishing to benefit from the system must absolutely ratify and implement the 27th Fundamental International Convention on Social and Environmental Rights. Finally, there's the American conditional model. In this model, the beneficiaries of this system must take measures to promote respect for internationally recognized workers' rights, such as the right of association, the right to organize and bargain collectively, or the prohibition of all forms of forced labor. Under this system, it is also possible to challenge the status of countries' GSP due to violation of labor's rights by following the procedure provided for this purpose.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell us what are the benefits of a social clause within a generalized system of preferences?
Of course, even if the system is not perfect, the main advantage of GSPs is that it is often acted as an incentive for many countries to change their practices and change their laws. It also works as a mechanism encouraging civil society to monitor practices or to file requests for revision. It also works as a tool that can support both economic and social development for developing countries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Now we know about the GSPs.